Good afternoon. My name's Eric, and I'm the Kahu of Waioli Hui Church. So this morning we had our children's message, and the kids. I had a box for them, and I've done this before. It's kind of fun. So the kids would get in the box, and you place things in there that they would say makes them happy, and then you duct tape the box, and you kind of spin it around, shake it around, and you talk about how God is that we're called by God to bring us outside the box. The box is culture, the things that make us happy, and to step out in faith with God. Then we showed a video from some work we did 6-7 years in Mexico. We did it a few years ago. We had this video, and it's just showing some of the kids. And I used it because I remember in that video I said something about you're not stuck. It's kind of a little bit of a caste system in Mexico, and so you're not stuck in the box you're born into, that you can step out through God. Our topic today is Noah, definitely somebody that even though he went into the ark, a box, he lived his life outside the box. So let's start there. So with God's grace and joy, we want to start with Noah. But before we start with Noah, we have to go the verses before. And they're the most exciting verses in the Bible. It is the genealogy. So it's actually great. So there's 10 patriarchs from Adam to Noah, basically. And as you're reading this genealogy, which is not interesting, but it tells us basically their names, the kid they had, and how many years they lived. That's it. No mas. And it reminds me of a verse in Chronicles about King Jehoram, where it says he died, Jehoram died, and nobody cared. It was just a name. They didn't care sad, they didn't care happy, just apathetic. There wasn't even a ripple. Now this all goes along for the 6 patriarchs, just their name. And then all of a sudden with Enoch, something happens, the 7th patriarch. It says something a bit different. So in Genesis 5:21, when Enoch had lived 65 years, he became the father of Methuselah. After he became the father of Methuselah, he walked faithfully with God for 300 years and had other sons and daughters. Altogether, Enoch lived a total of 365 years. Enoch walked faithfully with God, and then he was no more because God took him away. A cute explanation of the story years ago that I heard was that Enoch would walk and talk story with God daily. Each day they would talk more and walk a little bit farther. And then one day God says, hey, we're a little closer to my house than yours. Why don't you just come home with me? Enoch walked with God. And then we have some more guys. Nothing. You have their name, and then they had a kid, and they basically died. All of a sudden we come to Noah. He bursts on the scene, and a lot's going to be written about him. So this is the account of Noah and his family. Noah was a righteous man, it says. Not just having a kid, which he did. He had Shem, Ham, and Japheth. But he was blameless among the people of his time. Some scripture, it says blameless in his generations. He walked faithfully. Here it is again. He walked faithfully with God. So what makes Enoch and Noah's story different from the people before them? What did they do to be described as walking with God? So let's dive in. Turn to Genesis 6, verse 5. Now the Lord saw that the wickedness of man was great on the earth, and that every intent of the thoughts of his heart was only evil continually. The Lord was sorry that he had made man on the earth, and he grieved in his heart. The Lord said, I will blot out man whom I have created from the face of the land, from man to animal, to creeping things, to birds of the sky. I'm sorry that I made them. But Noah had found favor in the eyes of God. So what we have here, sin is progressing fairly quickly in man from blame to lies to evil intentions. With Adam and Eve, God asks, where are you? After they had sinned, what have you done? And Adam and Eve had sinned, but they respond by Eve, snake did it. Adam, snake, Eve, you, God did it. Everybody else's fault, just blaming. With Cain and Abel, it progresses where God asks Cain, where is your brother? Cain responds with a lie. I don't know. And then snide, am I my brother's keeper? How's it my fault? In Noah's time, the wickedness of man was great on the earth, and every intent of the thoughts of his heart was only evil continually. Noah is blameless in his generation. He lives outside the box. You ever see the old cowboy movies, and it's always these muddy streets. Clint Eastwood cowboy movies really show muddy streets. But there's always a lady in, a hoop skirt, whatever it's called, and she's walking with her parasol. She seems to get through the streets. No mud. Noah was like this lady that he lived in this muck and mud and horse stuff, but he got none of it on him. He lived blamelessly. He was outside the box. How did he do it? In Micah 6:8, it says this: He has shown you, O man, how to do it. What is good? He has shown you what is good. And what does the Lord require of you? To act justly, to love mercy, to walk humbly with your God. There's something here, walk with God. I believe this is who Noah was. He stood apart from his culture. He lived outside of the box. Now that's Noah, but let's look at God's ever-present character and nature. We are seeing the progression for the last couple of weeks. We have seen him as creator, okay? Everything, awesome. Provider, everything's here. Here's what you can have, go for it. Discipliner, hey, you did wrong. That's not acceptable. Protector, you did wrong, but I still got you. In both the stories of Adam and Eve, Cain and Abel. Now we see another part of God that some people go, oh, that doesn't make him a good God, makes him more too human. He is regretful, sorry, and still just, though. The whole earth is evil, and he is sad, as human terms can say it. I mean, we're working with an infinite being here, and we're trying to make it like how we can understand it. He has regret, sadness that he made man. He wants to blot them out, just like getting the ink stain out. But he looks and sees Noah, who's blameless, a flickering candle in the darkness. Everything's dark, and then you have that little light. Many times, and so he can't. He's like, it is unjust to blot everything out. Noah, hero, 7 more, right there. You know, many times with talking to bereaved people, those who have lost their spouse from death or divorce, or a child, you see such abject pain. Many people say that the pain is worth the times of joy they had. Can God regret? Does that make him less divine? For me, it makes him more real, more God. He has the ability to understand. He continues his role as protector and guides Noah by giving him directions on how to build an ark. So picking up in Genesis 6:13, God says to Noah, I'm going to put an end to all people, for the earth is filled with violence because of them. I am surely going to destroy both them and the earth. So make yourself an ark of cypress wood. Make rooms in it, coat it with pitch inside and out, waterproof. This is how you're to build it. It's going to be 300 cubits long. That's pretty big. 50 cubits wide and 30 cubits high. A cubit is 18 to 22 inches, so good size. Make a roof for it, leaving below the roof an opening 1 cubit high all around. That's going to be some airflow, going to get stinky. Put a door on the side of the ark and make lower, middle, and upper decks. I'm going to bring floodwaters on the earth to destroy all life under the heavens, every creature that has breath of life in it. Everything on earth will perish, but I will establish my covenant, my promise with you, and you will enter the ark, you and your sons, your wife, and your sons' wives with you. You are to bring into the ark 2 of all living creatures, male and female, to keep them alive with you. 2 of every bird, animal, creature, get food, go for it. Noah listens and acts on the instructions. Very clear instructions, to be sure, but probably not getting the end game. Building this, I don't know why. I got the idea of floodwaters coming up, kind of a big boat, got it. The movies, if you watch that, love to see people mocking him, his family doubting, weird angel things. We don't get that in the narrative, but I can only imagine what's going through his mind. Now the Lord says, get in your ark, go in the ark. I have found you righteous in this generation. Take with you, and what he goes through is the 7 pairs of more of the sacrificial animals. So what's going to happen? 7 days from now, I will send rain on the earth for 40 days and 40 nights. I will wipe from the face everything. And Noah, again, did everything that the Lord had commanded. So build this thing, animals come in, and the point is not whether it's a universal flood and the Hopi wrote about it and the Chinese wrote about it. The point is that, or it's a local flood, a Mesopotamian floodplain, it doesn't matter. What matters is that Noah walked with God, listened to him, obeyed him, filled it up, and waited. This is a big life moment for Noah. He could have said, you know what? It's not in my 5-year plan. I was kind of going to farm here, and then I was going to buy this lot, and I was going to work my way up. This is not on my vision wall. This is not in my, what's that thing, the bag, that you want to do in your life. My neighbors, come on, I'm just getting along with them. We had that issue, and now it's all good. They're going to hate me now. He could have provided any excuse, but he didn't. He did all everything, stepped in the role that the Lord had commanded him. He stepped into the hero role. So he became a hero. And this is what's written about him. That's why we know his name. You know, there's a show that my daughter and I watch, and I'll just quick on this one, and it's called What Would You Do? And I think it's like a news thing. And what they do is they do social projects and experiments. So they have, for example, a Muslim lady in hijab. Remember this one? And she's trying to change her tire and doesn't know what she's doing, to see if people will stop and help. And it's a great show. I mean, some of it's kind of made up. And again, you see all these people that ignore it. They let it go. Then they interview them. Why'd you let it go? And then there's a hero. One or two come in there, and that's like everybody's excited. The sad thing is, what's going on is that we're excited now for everyday things in the old days. Every day, 20 years ago, 3 years ago, we would have helped anybody change a tire. Now we're scared. Am I going to talk to her? I'm going against her culture? Am I allowed to talk to this person? Or whatever the situation is. The bummer is that the good deed is unique now. Noah's good deed was unique then. Here, we're changing so fast, and we're changing much faster and more quickly than we've ever before. For a case in point, we used to own a gym. It was one of the things we sold to go down to Mexico. And I used to love the gym culture. Everyone helps everybody out. You go in, you're respected for your work ethic, your ability to get along, your cleanliness. So we go to Mexico for 6 or 7 years, and down there we worked out in a couple different gyms. Awesome. But the thing is, if I didn't say buenos dias, buenas tardes when I walked in, hello, good afternoon, or hasta pronto, or I'll see you later, have a great day, when I left, I was rude. And eye to eye. I moved back to Honolulu last year and moved into Kalihi and went to the YMCA, the Young Men's Christian Association. First time I'd been in a place like this in 6-7 years. And I walk in, everybody's got earbuds in. And I call it the slide eye. They just slide right by. They don't say hi, it just slides back. You don't even exist. You just go and work out. Let's be honest, half the fun of working out is with buddies. No buddies. In fact, on the wall is a sign that says, no conversations. I'd never seen that in a gym. It's kind of like the slide eye is when you're ordering food, you're at a table and there's waiters. And if the waiter's not yours, they don't look at you. You're trying to napkin, fork, it's slide eye, slide right by. You go in there, it slides right by. I quickly stopped greeting people. I felt dumb. I'm the new guy. I started placing myself in relationship behaviors and patterns that I did not agree with, and I actually knew was detrimental. I have some background in helping people work out. And so you see things going wrong and you know they're going to get surgery down the road, but I was nervous. I was scared. I placed myself in a box. I did not even want to get in that box, but I got in it. I started changing the wrong behaviors around me. Noah never allowed himself to get in a box, righteous in his generation. He listened even when it seemed and was a bit kooky. Really? A boat? He was outside the behavior cultural box, but willing to step into God's box. Today, there's a lot of talk about the new norm, whatever that means. It's amazing how quickly we change our behavior. We've seen that in 2020, how our relationship-oriented behavior changes. Shaking hands, kissing. It's out. Now we're trying to elbow each other. That's kind of violent. What once took years, again, takes a few days on the internet. Heroes become villains daily. The whole world follows and agrees. The great social psychologist and philosopher Erich Fromm observed this. This is a great quote. The fact that millions of people share the same vices does not make these vices virtues. The fact that they share so many errors does not make the errors to be truths. And the fact that millions of people share the same forms of mental pathology does not make these people sane. Many people today act a certain way, believing they are on a unique path. They may create their own religion like Adam and Cain try to do. I want to be God or be like a God. They make their own rules despite or in spite of God. In truth, their path is not unique. We see this from Adam and Eve. The serpent tricked Eve to step onto this road, to get in this box. We're doing the same thing. The vehicle may be different, but it's all driving slowly or quickly away from God, leading away from Him. In Noah's time, culture did what felt was right to them, and it was a stench to God. As Christ followers, we choose a different way. We step outside of the cultural box and be and do what God calls us to be. God keeps calling. He doesn't move. It is us who move. Our cry of "where are you" is answered by Him right here. I never left. Noah and his wives and his sons entered the ark to escape the flood. Floodwaters come. God, now they're in there 7 days. The door's still open. They don't know what's going on. Like, is this going to really happen? I mean, I'm in quarantine here. Is it going to rain? Not really know what's going on. After about 6 days, you're going, I can see the beach, or I can see outside. It's less stinky. There's better airflow out there. I mean, can I go out? Am I supposed to be in here for 7? You said 7 days. All of a sudden, God himself closes the ark, the door, and the rains come. And it rained 40 days and 40 nights. He shut him in, and everybody. He says, today I protect you. Today I have my arms around you. I will get you through this. Noah built the ark. The word ark in Hebrew actually means rest. Noah and his family entered into God's rest. Here's a part of the story we forget. God then, as they're in his arms, in his rest, he guided the ark. It didn't spin around and go through all these waves. He guided it. To be able to have these conversations, to walk with God, we have to be able to listen. Again, the miracle is not that the animals came and this thing was built. It is that Noah listened. God said, you're going to be here for 150 days. It wasn't just 40. Even when it looked clear to go, they waited on God, listening. Sometimes things may not make sense to us, but God knows the ending even before the beginning. We don't know about Noah's previous conversations, but what we do know is that he took his job seriously. He took the role God had for him. We are to be deconditioned from poor relationship behavior. And most importantly, we need to awaken from our culturally induced slumber and try to find simple joy once again among the sacred. To sit quietly and allow him to love us. As I feel I'm bugging somebody if they have earbuds in the gym, maybe he feels that we are too busy as he's looking down around face and we got earbuds in and we're doing slide eye to God. It says he's a jealous God. It used to be about idol worship. You know, they make these things of gold and bow down to him. Idols are basically material things that pull our relationship away from our designer. It is my desire that we are people who walk with God, run with God, skip with him. It is a wild but eternally awesome adventure. Have a great, great, great evening and week, and hope to yap at you again soon. Aloha and all of our love from Waiole Huia. Bye-bye.